welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. We're back after a 2-week hiatus due to starting new work, but we're back just in time for the start of the new season and hopefully Tottenham's title charge. Joined by two great guests. We've got Bobby K making his debut, coming a bit later on. Firstly, Brian. How you doing, Brian? Been on here plenty of times.
I have indeed. I'm doing very good. Happy Tottenham Hotspur Premier League Eve to each and every one of us. It's almost upon us, and I've just had a thing a few minutes ago. Chelsea have confirmed the agreement at Cucurella, so apparently I'm moving to Chelsea, according to some people. So, but yeah, so it's all good. It's all good, and happy to be back on the channel, Chris.
Excellent. Always a pleasure to have you on, and a debut for Kuva as well. How you doing, Kuva? Thanks so much for coming on.
Is it a debut? I've got a feeling I might have been on before one time. I can't remember.
There's no way Kuva has not been on. There's no way Kuva.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly I was on stream with you on another channel, certainly.
It's a debut for this season. There we go.
There we go. It's a transfer window debut.
I've got a lot of people in the chat already. Eugene, how you doing, Eugene? Jens, Ryan, I'll try and get through them all and read as many out as I possibly can. I don't have super chats or super stickers, so hit that subscribe, get me up to 1,000. And then we can have super chat, so you guaranteed to get
and the Magic channel as well. Why not?
Yeah, and if you want a bit of a change, Chris's Magic on YouTube. I know Kuva was saying backstage he watches everyone. I really appreciate the support. Just slightly different, not football, nothing to do with football. Just a bit of fun. So yeah, head over there. And on this one, hit the subscribe as well. Brian's got his channel. Bobby, who will be on later, has got his channel. That's all in the description. But at the end, we'll go through where you can find them and what you can expect. But let's start. The Premier League is back, Brian. Every single fan of every single club is optimistic at the start of the season, and then certain clubs are optimistic until the end, and other clubs are optimistic until 5 minutes into the first game of the season. Where are you with relation to Spurs' optimism for the start of the season?
I'm very optimistic. Very optimistic that we will finish third. That's how optimistic I am. Listen, I'm just delighted football is back, and the one good thing that comes out of this World Cup is there's a lot of football to. We've lost it for ages. It's going to be non-stop until November. It's going to be non-stop, and just very, very excited. There's two seasons in the world to me: football season and non-football season. So one season has ended and the best season has begun. So I am optimistic, though. I am. We've got Conte still here, so things can only be positive.
Yeah, and please get your comments coming in. Like I say, hit the subscribe, hit the like. Really helps the channel. Really appreciate it. Kuva, where are you with the optimism, and what do you think we can achieve this season?
Standard for me, quadruples on. It's always on. You've got to start with that mindset. Win everything. If you don't believe you're going to win something, you're definitely not winning it. So I think we got one of the best managers in the world. We made some decent signings at the start of the window. I'm still optimistic we're going to add to it and bring in some real quality and have a hell of a go at things. And then you've got to hope the likes of the wheels fall off Man City and Liverpool, which could happen. It has happened before. And aim for 90 points. See if something crazy happens. So I'm hopeful of why not? Let's go all the way. Let's dream. Let's dare. Let's do. It seems to be familiar little words for this club, but I actually believe it. There's something about this season. It all started with our mate Bob coming out of the coma. It's going to be his first match back as a fan. Will be against Southampton, and I've just got this feeling this looking on the bright side stuff. It's infectious, you know. The more time you spend around Bob, the more you realise. Let's just enjoy the moment. You never know when things are going to be your last. And it triggered with me that all that emotion of live every moment of it. Let's go for it. League titles, cups, bring it on. This what we support a club for.
Yeah, I'm hoping to meet Bob at the game as well, and yourself if you're going as well. I haven't met you guys before, but
a bit hard for me to get there.
Well, I've met you before, and so I'll meet you again when you're back in the UK. But just adding on to the stream, a last-minute substitution. Bobby, how you doing?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. The sun is shining, I think. I don't know. I didn't look outside.
Certainly is here. But
I just rolled over, looked at the time, turned the alarm off, thought I had hit snooze, rolled over 5 minutes later, went, oh, I got 6 minutes to get downstairs and get in Chris's show. So I know how to do the quick beauty wash, but can't be as pretty as normal. How you doing, buddy? We're so buzzing from yesterday, man. I'm telling you, the kids had such a laugh with you yesterday.
Such great fun, and yeah, I mean, your channel is so different to all of the others. Really good fun. Really good fun.
Well, we're going to be adding another mix here. Me and that fellow over there Sunday nights will start mixing things up there, man. Looking forward to it. Hey, baby.
Yeah. Bobby's channel is in the Bobby's channel is in the description. So, but at the end, he'll let you know where you can find it and everything like that. But in terms of the season, Bobby,
yes, sir.
Optimism. Everyone's optimistic at the start of the season, and it depends on how your team do, how quickly that optimism fades. But where are you with Spurs at the moment in terms of the optimism for the season ahead?
You know, Brian knows me well, obviously, and Kuva knows me here. Brian and I watch the games together and stuff. He knows I'm 99% optimistic all the time, and I think sometimes it bothers him, and he's gonna stab me one day. And
especially not on our 3-year anniversary, mate. It's our 3-year anniversary tomorrow, so it's going to be a fantastic day.
Holding hands and cuddling
Exactly,
at the pub.
skipping all around the club. Yeah. Night, my brother.
Oh, nice. I don't know about the skipping part. Things are tight still.
Oh, holding hand you're good with. Okay, cool.
Yeah, holding hands is fine.
Okay, wicked.
Let the back get better, and then we'll go skipping and dancing in the streets in the rain, baby. No, I'm really positive, only because we actually did things this window. The only thing that obviously everybody, I think, it's consistent is that we did things so fast, and all of a sudden just hit the brakes. And we didn't address the areas that we need addressed. There's still weaknesses and holes that we need filled. That being said, though, I'm still going to remain optimistic, because if we can achieve fourth with what we had last year, and Ndombele and Lo Celso and Winks in our midfield, I'm going to remain positive. We've still got another
3 weeks.
Just over 3 weeks left in the window here. So things can still happen. Money is there. That war chest hasn't been dried up if all the rumors are true that were to be believed. Levy for life. What can I say?
Now you might get snapped. Now you might get snapped.
I knew your reaction, but Kuva's eyes all of a sudden bling. What? He's about to change his name. Kuva and F.U. Kang.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Brian, we'll move on to you quickly to stop having a fight occurring here. But the optimism will stay if this kind of happens again with these three, and you've got Richarlison to stick into that as well. I mean, Kulusevski 9 goal contributions, Kane 15, Son 13 last season, and Kulusevski's obviously is only for half of the season. That front three is as good as Liverpool's was for me in their height, and now you've got Richarlison to add to it as well. Those three, possibly four, are going to be imperative, right, this season if we're to achieve anything.
So I think that those goal contributions are probably since Kulusevski came, because we all know Son got a lot more.
22 goals.
Yeah,
Well, they're not going to be before, are they?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Without? Can you imagine without that Kulusevski and what would have happened? Where we would have been?
37. That was just from January in that case, which is crazy. Imagine what they can do in a full season.
Yeah. They are electric together. It's very. I mean, Son and Kane have this chemistry that they've had for 7 years or however long it's been that they've been together. And you sometimes get these players like, who would have thought Daniel Suarez, Daniel Sturridge, and Luis Suarez would have been the perfect fit. Shearer and Sutton, and Klinsmann and Sheringham. There's these players that get it like that. And Kulusevski came in, and obviously in the Conte system was the dream ticket. And that I would say he's probably. I'm not just saying this bias. I can't think of a January player that's come in the Premier League in recent history that's come in and set the Premier League alight like this man did immediately. They are electric. And people used to say Liverpool were the most formidable front three. Well, with Mane gone now, and maybe it's Tottenham bias, maybe it's not. They are the most formidable, especially currently, front three in Europe. And I don't think defence is going to be able to handle them. And we've got to remember this game last season, Southampton, Kulusevski hadn't even signed yet. So he hadn't played a part in this game. And if they start the way they finished, the Premier League is in big trouble. Big trouble. And then, like you said, after his suspension, you add Richarlison to this. If one needs a rest or one gets injured or suspended, there is actually genuine, maybe not to the standard of Kane or the standard, but Richarlison is certainly better than a Janssen, a Llorente, a Vinicius.
Premier League ready as well, isn't he? There's
exactly.
Llorente was as well, to be fair, but he was getting on a bit. But
yeah,
Richarlison, been there, done that, got the T-shirt in terms of Premier League experience, and he's a fighter as well. We've added some genuine steel to that. Kuva, do you see Richarlison forcing his way as the season unfolds into that front three, or do you think it's going to mainly be those three there, Kane, Son, Kulu, and then obviously rested, injuries, whatever? Or do you see Richarlison being able to displace one of them as the season progresses?
I think Richarlison's every bit a rotational player with those front three. There'll be times we want to rest people, keep them fresh for certain matches, take the edge off. Even if some games you take, the likes of Sonny or Kane off with half an hour to go, Richarlison, I've got no fear of him coming on. What Conte likes about him is the same thing I like about him. The man's a fighter. He knows how to roll his sleeves up and scrap for everything he's got. He's grateful to be a professional footballer. He gives you everything because he knows what it's like to have nothing. He's got humbleness to him. He's got fighting spirit. He knows that fighting from everything he has from the time he was a kid on the streets. And I think bring that to a team that's packed with talent already, and you add that quality to it. It rubs off on other people as well. As much as the quality of the likes of Kane and Sonny will rub off on him, his fighting spirit will rub off them too. I think we're better for it. It's a better blend of players we've got up there with different qualities and a bit more strength. We're not so worried about what happens to Harry Kane now. Now we've got somebody that can do that sort of role, that can hold the ball up, can add a bit of strength and aggression through the middle. Sonny could play instead of Kane in front, but it was a different setup when he does it. We can maintain a style of football that you'd associate with us at the moment. With instead of having a replacement for Kane like Llorente did, we've got a player that can rotate with all of those front three. That's really important. But for me, sorry. No, go on.
Carry on. Okay. I was just going to say we were linked with Jesus and Richarlison, but Jesus can only play that front role. Richarlison, all three, so it's the best side.
Yeah, I think Jesus is a very talented footballer. I think he's actually going to do well at Arsenal, unfortunately. But he's not what we needed so much. We did need that the versatility that covers Kane as well as the others. Richarlison and Jesus is more of he's a talented footballer, but he doesn't offer everything. And we needed somebody that really is the jack of all trades up there. That is Richarlison. But for me, the real key to it all, there's Bissouma in the midfield.
Yeah, and I think he's a superb signing.
Yeah, let's do the comparison with what the Gooners are doing, and they're getting carried away with everything, as usual. But Bissouma is a player, not just they wanted, they needed him, and they didn't get him. He has really strengthened our midfield. He's that player that cannot be pressed, that players will bounce off. He's going to be an absolute nightmare for other teams. We've seen what it's like being on the opposite end of what he can do. He was destroying our midfield single-handedly.
We stopped Kane playing, didn't he? He can do absolutely. For me, he can do everything in midfield. He can be that marshalling guy. He can be the driving forward runner. Yeah. For me, he can play the 50-yard pass as well. It wouldn't surprise me if he can string a game.
Yeah, it used to be a case he didn't have the pass in his locker, but he does seem to have that nowadays. He's developed. He's a big part of the game he's developed. He's becoming a complete midfielder now. And we've got him, not them. That's a big thing. And then the icing on the cake for me is it's got to be Perisic. What a player that is. That is a player that, and again, if you compare it to the Arsenal team, he just walks straight into their team, any position. Literally any position, except for goal, maybe as central defence. But I mean, anywhere else, he's top quality. He is that good. And people say, oh, well, he's 33. You look at him, that's not your average 33 going around there with sort of, battle scars from loads of hard seasons. He looks fresh. He looks energized. He looks very, very fit. I think we've probably got 2 or 3 years worth out of him easily.
I think Ben's on the money here. Perisic is our leader now. Just another one from him. We'll come on to this a bit later. By 2 proper defenders, and we'll be going for the league. What are we waiting for? But we'll come on to that a bit later.
Exactly. I just have to say as well, I've been meaning to say it since Kuva mentioned Jesus or Jesus, I say it doesn't. Don't worry. I mean, if he's feeling bad or getting a little homesick or whatever, I'm sure before Man City, Arteta will get him training to Blue Moon and whatever will happen. I'm just looking forward to when they do that for next coming to Tottenham and they have to play Stop Crying Arteta around the speakers whilst he's mate. Do you know what? I just have to say, watching that thing, the funniest thing about that whole "You'll Never Walk Alone" bit is when Arteta actually pitches it to his assistant. He actually goes, yeah, that's a really good idea. And I'm like, are you shitting me? But yeah, that's enough.
If someone put a picture of that on one of the WhatsApp channels, it's listed as a comedy.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Sorry, Brian, you watched the All or Nothing?
Of course, no. I watched the Nothing or Nothing. I called it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. No, I just saw that they were talking about there were so many views. It was like 8.
I did put a tweet out because the second one is called the North London Derby, which is obviously the one they battered us and we were shocking. And I actually tweeted Arsenal and Amazon. I said I'm looking forward to seeing the 6th and final episode labelled "Every Gunner is a Runner." You fake COVID test and we thrashed you in May. Because if you want to start beginning, they're such the bastards. But yeah, let's not talk about that filthy lot that I brought up. So I apologise.
I mean, Bobby, in terms
yourself. Yes, Chris. Sorry.
In terms of what Kulu was saying, Kuva was saying there. Sorry, Kuva.
I was
going to say the pretty version of Kulu.
In terms of what Kuva was saying there, we're comparing our signings to Arsenal signings. My not issue with Arsenal, but my thing that I think they've made some good signings, Arsenal, but they don't have any leaders there. We saw them at the White Hart at the North London Derby, completely capitulated, and then their manager deer in headlights, and then followed it up with the same at Newcastle. We've got Richarlison, who's a leader, Perisic, who's a leader, Kane, you could argue, is a leader, even Dyer as a leader, certainly Romero, and Basuma now as well. And Skip been touted as a future Spurs captain. We've got leaders all the way through, and that's not even mentioning our actual captain, Loris. No. So in terms of our signings, who do you think will be the one who has the biggest impact, or at the end of the season we're going, that's our best signing this window? Obviously there may be others that come in, but at the moment there's 6 of them.
Out of the current crop, I personally would pick Basuma only because I think he's just going to be phenomenal for us. He's going to be a difference maker in that midfield. Is he the creativity? Actually, you know what? I'm going to swap out. I'm going to go to Richarlison. I think he's going to have a great season with us, even coming off the bench and just being a little shit disturber coming in for the last 15, 20 minutes of a game, playing the cup games and everything. I'm really hoping, and Brian and Kuva have heard this before from me, I'm hoping to see us put a number 9 role in there somehow, somewhere, and even throw him in behind Kane and have him just kind of run off and come off and overlap over Kane as he holds the ball up and then just plays him in. I'd love to see that because I firmly believe Mora should be a number 9 because when he runs at defenses, he's just like that crazy little Mighty Mouse character from back in the day that just used to just charge straight forward. His tiny little thing just scares the hell out of people. And I used to love that. And I think Mora's great at that. And I think Richarlison could do that for us and do it very, very well. Yeah. And the difference between him and Mora is that he can actually let the ball go from out there and put it in the net.
I think the other difference is Morva doesn't really have the discipline for me. Being played at right wing back, you have to have discipline there, whereas we've seen Morva going all over the place, running around all over the place. You can't really have that. Whereas I think Richarlison probably does have that. Certainly Kulu has that. We saw that against Man City. But I think there's also a possibility, and Spurs fans won't like this because he's the best striker in the world, but you could put Richarlison up at the number 9, have Kane drop a bit deep and just the Messi role, do what you want. Don't worry about defending going. Because for me, he's the only one who can pass the ball. So in terms of what Ben Kaufman was saying by 2 proper defenders, I think one defender and then a creative midfielder, who that will be, I have no idea. But would you drop Kane back and put Richarlison up there, or do you think we lose
Yeah.
too much by dropping Kane back?
Who are you talking to?
Anyone? We'll go with Bobby first, and then we'll go around the.
Yeah, I don't think we'd lose anything. You could play Kane anywhere pretty much except for goal, and we don't lose anything when that guy's on the field. He's just quality, and he can pass the ball pretty much from anywhere. His passes, his vision just seem to be getting better and better as he ages. He's aging like a fine wine. The fact that now, knock on wood, he's gone 2 seasons with just the one injury. He was clear last year, and the year before he had a few weeks. That was it. So, is it time to let him slowly kind of slow down and maybe not put so much pressure on him and have him drop back in that position? I think he'd be able to do it, and he'd be able to turn into a provider, no problem. Is it something he'd want to do? Is it something we as Spurs fans really want to see? I don't think so. I want to see him as our focal point up at the front. I want to see everything built and channeled through him. I want to see him score 40 goals. I want to see him just hopefully put that mask on again at one point just for fun. Not for necessity, just so he can rip it off after scoring a wonder goal. I just want to. I think he can. Can he do the role? Yes. Do I want to see him do it? No.
No, I think after he gets Jimmy Greaves' record, Brian, he might want to do that. But would you play that with Richarlison up there, or would you want the Brazilian Darren Huckabee up there, Lucas Moura instead, or would you want none of that? Kane is our striker. Leave him up there.
So Kane dropping deep in games. All for it. All for it. Starting him there, hell no. Hell no. Harry Kane is the world's best striker, the world's best finisher. So it doesn't matter what you do. You drop him deep, you're taking someone who is the best of the best out of his position. And all right, I will trust Son. If it was 1-on-1 90th minute, do I trust Son? Yes. Do I trust Richarlison? Most definitely, I'd say highly likely. I can't say 100% because we obviously haven't looked at him closely. But Harry Kane is ruthless, and Harry Kane this season is gunning to be England's record all-time goal scorer, which he's got 3 goals to do, so that's a shoo-in. Tottenham's all-time record goal scorer, leading his country to a World Cup, and can end our trophy drought. Harry Kane is going, and we've seen it in pre-season, is going into this season hungrier than he ever has been, and he is a beast ready to attack. And you don't go, oh yeah, you're ready to attack, and you're that ready. Yeah, we're gonna play a bit deeper to try and free up people. Harry Kane is the best of the best, and if you take the best out of the best of anything and replace him and put the best of the best somewhere where he's still very, very good, you weaken the team. And for me, Harry Kane this season, I don't mind if it's like we're drawing and we want to bring Richarlison on for an extra attacker, then he drops deep. That no problem with, but to permanently play behind so we can have it, no for me, hell no.
Yeah, and Kuva, what say you on this? Because for me, he's our best passer in terms of not Ericsson, but what Ericsson could do, the 50-yard passes, stringing the game
better than Ericsson.
Maybe Skip is learning to do that, although he's suffered a fresh injury. Maybe Bissouma can do that, but for me, he's our best passer. But yeah, what would you do with Kane this season, or would you just leave him up top and go get Greaves' record and get the golden boot?
Leave him up top. It's a natural progression. Well, not even progression with his game. Even when he was a youngster, the comparisons were there with Teddy Sheringham, and they're there for a reason, because he's always had this as part of his game. He always is able to drop deep and pick a pass. It's one of the most outstanding attributes he's had all the way through his career. The fact that it's coming off more often now is what really gets the highlight reel going, because he's got the likes of Sonny to feed off that. And, without Sonny putting those chances away, though, all those assists wouldn't have happened, would they? So it's very much a partnership between the two of them, and we're so strong for it in that regard. What I'm interested in seeing is some of those games where we used to lose control of the midfield and we'd be under pressure. We've now got the added option of playing a system where we might switch to a 3-5-2, and we could have the likes of Kane and Richarlison up front, causing a menace. Keep Sonny and Kulusevski on the bench to come on later in the game, but have this combative midfield with Bissouma, the likes of Skip, Højbjerg, and Bentancur, being 3 absolute menaces to the other team. Don't let them settle on anything. This terrier-like chase everything down furiously. And you still add your little bit of quality on the wing back from the likes of Perisic. to just create these chances on the break and that sort of thing. It's the sort of tactic I want that I think we might employ against somebody like a Liverpool side, because they've got so much talent coming from the midfield and the wing back positions, that if we just want to shut them down there and just put the extra numbers in and still keep a little bit of something up front, it was working for us. We did it against Man City. We did it against Liverpool. Just stifle them. We can do that even more now with the likes of Richarlison, in my opinion. And then some of those games, won't be often, but some of those games you could have the likes of Sonny actually on the bench and people go, what's Sonny doing on the bench? But if you're saving him for the last half hour when people start getting a bit more tired and he comes on fresh, what a weapon that would be to unleash on the other team. We now have options that we didn't have before. It's because we strengthen that midfield position, we strengthen the forward positions. So as for Kane, let him do what he does. There's no need to say just stay up in the opposition box. Why do that when he's got so much more to his game? It's stifling him. Just say you've got the freedom to do it. There is the support behind there. There are people that will come in, the likes of Basuma. Højbjerg, when his passing is on his top game, is actually pretty good at picking out some passes from midfield positions. He doesn't always do it, and that's when I start getting frustrated by him, because there's not a lot else to his game other than just the work rate. Bentancur can do it as well. Skip is very much a developing player. I don't think I'd really note him for his passing or anything to do with shooting at the moment. He may develop it.
We noticed a few bits with his passing, switching play. I think possibly last pre-season, not this one gone. But so maybe it's something he's been worked on. Obviously, the injury is going to hamper that. But.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of these players. We don't know how he's going to develop. He could turn into be any sort of midfielder. He might become a defensive type. He might become a box-to-box. We don't know. We'll see how it goes. See what it might be a case of what he feels is right for him, and it might be what Conte sees in him and develops him into. That's why he's like that exciting prospect, because we can see there's a skill set there. We want to see how it gets applied and how it starts taking shape into the finished product. So that's why it's so important we keep hold of him. I don't like all this business about swap deals involving Skippy. No way.
I don't think we'd get rid of him at all.
Can I just let you know some a bit of? I think this may start getting. Apparently, the Villa are about to offer 25 million for Tanguy and Ndombele, and I'm not joking. I'm just trying to get this confirmed.
Whoever's nearest London, go drive him there now.
I'm literally. No, just leave trailer cheeseburgers.
No, Chris, that's you.
On the PM1.
Did it have the pound sign on the 25 and the rest of it's debatable? Or
there you go. Look, I'm even reading it. Look, 1 second. I'll read it. 1 sec. This has come from Total Villa. If there's a deal to be done that would suit Aston Villa and Tottenham, there's a real possibility that Tanguy and Ndombele could end up at Villa, as he's on Villa's list. And this has come from Peter O'Rourke, who has 114,000 subscribers. It's looking good.
That would be good if that happened, because we need to get him out. I think he's got the potential to be fairly toxic in that dressing room, certainly to the younger players as well.
Potential.
Even if he turns out to be does go to Villa and he turns out to be brilliant for them, we still need him out, because he's clearly not going to do it for us, is he?
Mate, just get him off the wage bill. Let someone else pay him 200 grand a week and then free it up.
A couple of comments from Jason Bell here. Firstly, if we're going to drop someone back as a position change, much rather it be Kulusevski. I think he probably would as well. He's got the discipline to do that. And Gardner and Ndombele, please be true. Bobby, in terms of the transfer window, 3 weeks left-ish. Who else do you want? For me, a good central defender for competition there. We've got competition up top. We've got competition in midfield. Not really the competition for me in defence. So one of those, and a creative midfielder. Not really sure why we're going after this Destiny guy when we've got other issues that we need to fix. But in terms of, I know, Brian, you put a comment on Twitter, a question on Twitter. Are we worried that we're going after up-and-coming potential players again? I would be if we hadn't signed the likes of Basuma, Perisic, Richarlison, and we'd only signed Jed Spence, 2 up-and-coming players. So I'm not really sure why we need him, but I think we need a central defender, creative midfielder, good ones to really, be in that potential title challenge conversation. But yeah, for you, Bobby, who 3 weeks time, what do you want to see come in? Who do you want to see come in?
Upgrade to Dyer, or at least somebody that's going to challenge him for his spot. That's the only position that we haven't addressed really, as far as I'm concerned. If you look at our entire team sheet, that's the only place we have that we can't put a second name. And that terrifies me because now you were just here yesterday. You know how it is. Big K loves his Eric Dyer, so I can't slag him off too much. But at the end of the day, Dyer's quality, but he's not the quality we need. No. He's not the level that we want to go to.
And it might raise his level having someone else there to not combat him, to compete with him.
To challenge him, basically. Now, and, how do we... I can see Richarlison and Harry Kane's level being raised because they have to bounce off each other now. For the first time in, what are we at, 7 or 8 years, Brian, you'd know, that we've been crying for a striker when we finally got one. 8 years Harry Kane hasn't had competition. So now he's going to have competition. He's going to be even greater. But for me, center back, that stat you put up earlier from when Kulusevski came in.
Let me bring it back up.
That those numbers alone, just from when he came in. That's just after he came in. That's what was that? 12 games? Was it 14 games? How many did he play?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
you know what? I even think that's wrong. I think Kulusevski got 8 assists for some reason, not 6, but it doesn't matter either way.
I thought he had 8 in the first 6 games or something. But
I've got the picture from Google, so it might be an outdated one. And
that was after Kulusevski's debut. That's what he did. Yeah. He had a stellar debut.
That was his first game.
Yeah.
Google lies. I think we have firepower up there, so I'm not overly concerned. Yeah, I know. We need to break down the low block. But we got Perisic and Richarlison in so that we have options now that might be able to get through that. So our priority, as far as I'm concerned, is shore up that back line. I don't care if we're scoring 7 goals. If we're conceding 8, it means nothing. So shore up that back line. Give Romero somebody solid beside him. Give him a Guardiola, Skriniar. He would be almost a perfect position because Langley and Romero can play the ball out. They can run up the field with the ball. We just need somebody that's going to sit at home right there, be a big brick wall, not let anything get by in the air or on the ground. And Skriniar, I think, would fit the bill perfectly. Even De Vrij, I would take. I think he would be somebody that would, and he's cheap. What is he at, 15 million or something? And Inter need money. So why have we waited on this one when it should be a priority? I don't know. That's the only thing I'm pissed off about. But.
Yeah. Just a quick comment before we move on to Brian's view. 5 and 8 for Kulu. I'm assuming that's goals and assists. So, I've obviously got an old photo. And someone who's been doing this over 2 years has obviously done his research very well there and got an out-of-date photo. Anyway.
It's always good that you got it wrong that they're better rather than you got it right and wrong and they're worse.
Yes.
So either way, that's an impressive. Even if my photo there was right, it's still fairly impressive.
Or you could have said you've won a prize because I wanted to see how alert Spurs fans were and if they would correct me. That's your cup.
Sorry, Brian. Alana's right there. Say good morning from us.
How did you see Alana?
The reflection.
Oh, the reflection. I was like, what the fuck? I saw her in the kitchen. I was like,
I was just going to say, make sure you tell her to put her bathrobe on before she comes wandering around.
It's that other webcam we've got installed in your house, Brian.
Yeah, I swear people have got me chipped as well. I think when I'm falling asleep sometimes, working up a bit of a neck ache, I'm like, what people put in me?
Yeah, Brian, in terms of transfer window until the end of August, isn't it? Who do you want to see come in to really say, we're Tottenham, we can have a title challenge here?
So it's 4 players in 2 positions, but I will be happy if one of them come in. One of them. Centre-back, Skriniar or Milinkovic. And attacking midfielder, Milinkovic, Savic or Maddison. If one of them come in, preferably, I want the centre-back first. The centre-back has to be in there. I would love either of those 2, and a big up, Chris, brother. I would be really, really happy or delighted if one of them come in. If one of the defenders and one of the attacking midfielders come in, I will be doing cartwheels down my road. And the big problem with this is I can't even do cartwheels. So, like your magic channel, I might start my own channel, how to do a cartwheel, and see how.
So coming down for that.
Oh mate, so we will see what happens. But the The plan is, so the plan is. I was about to say the plan is I'm going to bring them both in. No, like I said, if one of them come in and preferably the centre back, I'm going to be absolutely over the moon. But that's the area that needs addressing.
Yeah, I think central defender is more pressing than a creative midfielder, I think, Kuva. But for you, what would you rate the transfer window at the moment, and what would make it 10 out of 10 for you? For me, it's those two in, central defender, creative midfielder, and get Ndombele out at all costs. So for me, that would be a 10 out of 10 window. But what would make a 10 out of 10 for you?
10 out of 10 for me would be couple of central defenders in, couple of wing backs in, creative spark up front, another right winger striker type with some sort of electric pace or trickery to their game. I mean, we're talking unrealistic amount of new signings in to make it a 10 out of 10. But I would settle for definitely a commanding centre back, somebody who's aerially absolutely dominant. I think we missed a big trick with Sven Botman, Newcastle signing him. He would have fitted the bill, but there are plenty of others around that fit the bill too. Milenkovic at the back, the defensive Milenkovic. He fits the bill. He's another giant player that could certainly add to that weakness that we do have.
Big issue is defending set pieces, aren't they? That's how we conceded to Roma. There's one against K-League. Can't remember the Sevilla goal.
As long as you have at least one fella back there who's going to be dominant, I think you're in a good place at that point. I think otherwise it's the Conte system. There's so much dependent on having great wing backs, you have quality attacking wing backs. As far as I'm concerned, we've got 1.5 at the moment. Perisic, who's undoubted quality, and Jed Spence, I think, could turn out to be great for us, but he's still unknown because he's literally just untested at Premier level. I think he's got the attributes that excite me. At least he's can beat his man, and he's an attack-minded wing back. Interesting debut he made was what caught the eye was the defensive action that he made straight away. It was the chasing somebody back, making a good tackle as they got into the box. And I thought,
he's young, isn't he? He's got a real good engine on him, getting up and down, which is a kind of essential quality, an essential quality for a Conte wing back, isn't it? Up and down.
It is. Funny enough, same with Pochettino, wasn't it? But we started signing players that didn't have the pace. As much as we like Trippier, he was not a Kyle Walker, was he?
I like Trippier.
Yeah, at least he's attacking minded and he could put a ball in.
Cross the ball.
I think what we had in those days was we had Wanyama and Dembele. Dembele, one of the most underrated players in Premier League history, and Wanyama, just a beast. Were literally there to just shield that defence when Walker, Rose, Trippier, whoever was playing there, went forward and then the front four just do what you do.
Yeah, Chris.
And we have that stability there to be allowed for those players to have that expression of just attacking intent, which we don't necessarily have at the moment.
Yeah, in many ways, that's what we're trying to recreate now, isn't it? With Basuma coming in to strengthen the centre at the centre of the park, and we're looking to strengthen the central defence. That allows those wing backs to get forward more. If you allow Perisic to get forward more, that is a very good thing. Definitely.
And I think with him, he could not take him aside, but he could have a real influence on Sessegnon, I think. So I think Perisic is a massively important signing, not just because of what he provides, but what he can help Sessegnon and Jed Spence as well. I know it's the other side, but it's the same position essentially.
Absolutely.
I just have to say, back on what you were saying, to me, that last season at the Lane, and you talk about that midfield partnership, I know Harry Kane got the golden boot and scored all these hat tricks. To me, our player of the season that year, and he only had one decency, it was Victor Wanyama. That guy, that season, if we had got him a couple of seasons earlier to play with Dembele, Jesus Christ, I think Leicester would have been cool. In all honesty, I think if we had Wanyama a season before, we would have been champions, because those front were doing what they did. And with Dembele, oh my God, that guy was just unbelievable for that season. But again, back to Perisic, everyone said about the marquee signing or the signing. For me, it's always been Perisic. This guy, you were just saying what he's going to bring on and off the pitch. the experience. I said it like before.
And he's a winner, isn't he? An
Exactly.
absolute winner.
I
Knows
wouldn't
Conte
have
system
cared.
inside out.
I would have cared during Poch or Harry Redknapp's time or whatever when we were flying. If we had signed 32-year-olds at that kind of ilk where they'd won a league, whatever they'd done it, been in Champions League finals, been in World Cup finals, to just be there and say, right, this is the experience. This is during this game, just sit, just hold tight, don't do anything stupid. We would have been so much better. Even Perisic is a stunning signing. And I would go as far to say he will probably be in the Premier League team of the season by the end of the year. That's how vital and how incredible this signing is.
Yeah. What I loved about what I loved about it, and you mentioned it earlier, Kuva, with his age, fans saying, I don't want him, he's too old, but they're the same fans who wanted Bale, who's 10 months between him. But absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, sorry, Kuva.
I'm sure there's some fans that still want Jermaine Defoe to play, but you get attachments to players, and I understand that. But if when people take the rose tinted glasses off, you've got to have a more realistic view of the team sometimes. But I get all of that. It's what fans are supposed to do, really, isn't it? I think with Perisic and players of that ilk in particular, when they come into our league, a lot of them you say, oh, they're just going for that last big payday and things like that. With Perisic, I get the feeling he wants to come over here because he wants to win that league title under Conte and say, I've had a fantastic career. Yeah. Now I've gone over and I've helped Spurs win the league as well. Look at that.
And what? Yeah.
That's the type of player Perisic is. That's the type of manager Conte is. If we're settling for just top four all the time, he's not going to be happy.
Oh, if we get fourth, Conte will be furious because we got fourth last year. That's done. We want to get higher this time. And with Perisic coming in, we thought it would happen with Bale, but he was only really there to get fitness for the World Cup or the Euro. Sorry, Perisic instantly training standards would have boosted up now because there'll be no. Oh, I feel a little bit tired. I'll stop. No, you don't. You'll stop when you throw up.
Yeah,
because that's what I do at Inter Milan. That's what I do at Croatia. Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly from Carl Simpson. He thinks we're going to get two defenders, central defenders, and a cam. Remaining optimistic, I'd be
good for you,
delighted.
Carl. Remain optimistic, brother.
I better start cartwheeling then.
Yeah, and I'm assuming KM Hong is start practicing, Brian.
Yeah,
and, I'm assuming this is relating to Jed Spence. Hope Conte lets him start at least against weaker teams instead of Emerson all the time. I think Emerson is now down to third in the pecking order.
It's funny you bring up just quickly. Sorry, Chris, with the Jed Spence thing, and Kuva was just talking about Conte possibly winning the league and everything, and maybe tying himself down to Spurs. Somebody had a very interesting point regarding that Destiny kid that we're looking at, the left wing back there. He and everybody's saying that's a Levy signing, but apparently Conte is the one that told Perisic to get this kid. He wants him. So if this kid is not going to be ready, if we're going to immediately loan him back and he's going to not be ready for at least one season right there because he's gone. So if we're looking at him for 2 or 3 seasons from now, is Conte setting himself up? Is he building his team for the future for himself now? Is that one of those things that, is potentially the case? And I thought it was a great point when it was brought up to me. I never even considered that angle personally. So I thought, you know what, if that's the case, I'm all for that signing then, by all means. Yeah. But I think I wouldn't have a problem if Conte put pen to paper first and said, I'll be here for 5 years. Then let's start worrying about your players that we're going to involve in your project 2 or 3 years from now. But if we don't know if you're going to be here, I think it's a bad gamble for us to be buying players that are going to fit his system down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
The trouble I have with that particular story is, look at what happened with Jed Spence. We're first told Conte wants him. Then turns out it wasn't Conte that wanted him. It was the club signing. Is this the same sort of deal? Because if it's a case of they're buying them now and then loaning them back, for me, that's not what Conte wants, is it? He wants to improve the team right now.
Yeah. That's what I was saying at the time.
To me, that reeks of a Daniel Levy type signing. Of course, clubs have got to do that. You do plan for the future as well. But you can't say that one's on the manager who wants the team improved right at this moment. I can't believe Conte's thinking, I want to be here in a year's time, so I want this one for a year's time. He's going to say, no, get me somebody right now. I can put into the team immediately. I want these title. I want the title on the in touching distance as soon as possible. It just doesn't ring true to me.
Yeah, a couple of comments in here. Carl's calling him Disney, great player, but I want him to sort out our team before we buy loan backs. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's worry about our starting 11
Yeah.
before we start worrying about who's going to be playing in our starting 11. Maybe 5 years from now.
Yeah, I think I've been saying that for about 14 years, but let's move on from that particular.
Just get through these.
I've never noticed, Brian.
I know I've got to make myself clearer, Kuva.
Yeah, you got to be a bit more transparent, bro. It's hard to read you sometimes.
I often get told that I'm
stop
very
sitting on the fence, Brian. Say what you mean.
I'm very misunderstood.
You are. You just gotta get it out. Let it out.
Let it go. Let it go. That's what I got to do.
Interesting comment from
Go ahead, Brian.
Problem with Conte signing a long contract. Levy may turn back to his old ways. I think
that's a good point.
The difference is he may well have signed a contract. He doesn't need the money, so he'll just walk out, Conte, if things aren't happening. It won't be, well, I'll leave at the end of the contract. And Ben,
can you see me start to turn shades of green and get bigger?
And Ben saying what quite a lot of people, I would imagine, are thinking. I believe it's Conte signing. If he signs a 4-year deal, signing screams Levy. But in terms of transfers, we do actually have a game on Saturday, Brian. Southampton. This question here, obviously, there's one obvious answer here, which is James Ward-Prowse. But Southampton's danger men. This fixture last year lost 3-2 after being 2-1 up. We let James Ward-Prowse have free reign of a crossing ball and then lost 3-2. He's obviously their danger man, which because of his abilities with set pieces, any free kicks we give, that's a danger. Corners are a danger, certainly with the fact that we can't defend them. But aside from Ward-Prowse and what he brings in the set pieces, are there any other danger men that you think Conte will be saying, keep an eye on them? Obviously, Che Adams, I would have thought, will play up top, who is he never gives you a second, does he? Che Adams will always run, always harry. But for me, keep Ward-Prowse quiet. You've got a real good chance against Southampton. But danger men for you for Southampton.
Well, it's kind of it. But for me, it is James Ward-Prowse. Don't get wrong, Southampton, when they're on form, play lovely football. Hasenhüttl has them playing good stuff. But that game, we performed badly in the second half. We performed badly. And the thing is, you gave the best crosser of the ball in the league, probably. When you say, I'm sure Conte would have said, whatever happens, whoever is closest to him, do not give him space on the ball. And then what happened twice in 3 minutes is the Spurs players probably got their set square or their ruler out and said, "Oh, wait a minute! I think you're a bit closer. I think you're closer. You go. And then by the time you do it, it's too late. You give him two. He just showed. You give him 2 chances like that, 2 goals. And I know this game for me would have been, and it's so typical. He's got a slight injury. I mean, We Are Tottenham TV has just tweeted, or a little bit earlier, that apparently Basuma is fit, but he may not be on the starting 11. He may be on the bench. For
me, that's not a bad thing because if I was in Conte's position, that top 11, first 11 that played last season against Norwich should start because they're the ones who got you into Champions League. It's up to the new players to force their way in. Obviously, Richarlison is exempt from that because he's suspended for the first game. But
you'd rather see. Well, put it this way: with James Ward-Prowse, I think what would have been perfect was Basuma to do what he did to Harry Kane when we lost at home to Brighton.
Yeah,
just literally say, right, I am following you like a shadow, and you ain't getting a kick of the ball. That's what you need to do. But in regards to starting, we did a straight out of Conte yesterday, and Conte said, "Listen, which I loved." He goes, with Perisic, he's coming back from this injury. I don't know if he's fully fit, but I'm not risking. I'm not taking risks with my players. He's not going to risk rushing them back for short term game, but long term failure. So I'd rather Perisic starts on the bench and has his debut against full debut against Chelsea, where we know how bad we've been with getting forward, and he is the outlet that we can use. So if Perisic is 100% fit, I see him playing. I do see him playing, and I think rightly so above Sessegnon. And I'm a Sessegnon fan. But yeah, for me, it's stop JWP, and you've got half a chance, or more than half a chance.
Yeah. I mean, Kuva, after what happened last season, Conte will be drilling into these players all week. Do not let that guy cross the ball. If he's looking like he's going to cross the ball, put your foot onto the bloody ball and stop it coming in. And do not give away stupid free kicks or corners in silly areas. He'll be drilling that into them, right? And you've got to imagine. But who else is the danger man for you? And who would you start with?
Well, for us, I think we're probably going to be looking very much starting the team that finished the season. I think Bissouma, there's a doubt over him, or he's not playing the first game, is he, or something like that. He's picked up some sort of injury. I think the only difference will be Perisic is going to be ready, so that will be that'll be the big change. Otherwise, pretty much what we are. Oh, and Langley, of course, is going to come in for Davies. Otherwise, it's what we've seen before because of. Mostly because people aren't quite ready. Jed Spence, I don't believe, is ready. And I don't think that Richarlison is going to force his way straight into the team. I think he'll come off the bench at some point. So I think we kind of know what to expect from our own team. But Southampton have become interesting again to me because we're talking about James Ward-Prowse as though he's the only real danger. And for me, they made a hell of a signing that's gone under the radar, and that's Aribo that they got from Rangers. He's an incredibly attacking midfielder. He's loads of assists. He's got goals in him as well, and he's the sort of player that Southampton tend to do. They tend to get these ones under the radar or youngsters that they bring through, and they turn out to be cracking players. I've got a feeling this is going to be one of them. He could be one of the signings of the season, in my opinion. Nobody's talking about him. Suits them perfectly at the moment because he'll just sort of hit the scene running and offer something. Whether he starts in the first game, I don't know. I haven't checked anything about fitness levels or injuries or anything like that. But they do. The point being is they are not a one-man team. They're a very hard-working unit. We've seen that. There are danger men among them. Their real weakness, in my opinion, would be the strikers. They haven't got those clinical, top of the range sort of strikers that some of the big boys have got, like ourselves. Can they translate those times of dominance with them in the match and those quality balls from the likes of Ward-Prowse and Aribo and make them count? Don't know. I don't know. All I know is they will give us a fight. It's going to be a tough game because that's what Southampton do. They swarm all over you, stop you playing, and create something. We've got to be on our A game to beat them. I was going for it being like a 1-1 to start with because I just think there's enough about them to create a problem. But the more I thought about it, we're at home. We'll squeak a 2-1. And then, of course, you listen to Bob Spur come back, and it's like, what's he all about? It's the 4-1, and I'm thinking, you know what? Let's believe in a bit of fate. It's his first game back watching. Let's have a 4-1 for Bob. And then I'm thinking, let's just go. Take that positive attitude right away through the season. So I think we know what's coming from us in this game. Southampton are more dangerous than people give them credit for.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby, this is a real chance. A lot of non-Spurs fans are not tipping us for the title, but like dark horses. This is a real opportunity to give them something to talk about, right? And really put Southampton to the sword, really go out from the start and then go, okay, maybe we are title contenders. But like Kuva said, on paper we should be winning this game, but you don't win. You don't win on paper. You don't win on paper. You have to earn your wins. And if we don't defend 100%. Properly, if we don't close down properly, they'll cause us problems. So, how do you think Conte will kind of set up with this? Someone on Ward-Prowse and the Reba, or do you think it'll be keep the ball more than you did last season and be clinical?
I honestly
set up.
First off, I've just got to address Ben Kaufman's comment here because he said poppycock, and sorry, I just had to start giggling. Carl mentioned it right away. I haven't heard that in a while, and I have a cousin in England that used to use it all the time, and He just took me back 30 years. So thank you for that, Ben. You brought back some old memories there. I'm gonna have to give her a call later on just based on that one. I think Conte's at the point where for as much as I love him, I think he's the kind of guy that's set in his ways and a little bit stubborn and almost borderline arrogant, where he's not going to care what the way somebody else is set up. He's going to set up the way he wants to set up. So that being said, we've just got to go in there and play our football. My biggest fear is, God forbid, we do not get 3 points tomorrow. I could see that being so detrimental in our fan base, and the wheels come off immediately after one game. So we need to get in there. We need to come out guns blazing. We're at home. They lost a very, very big piece of the puzzle at Southampton. Their attacking frontman, Broja, however you say it, is gone.
He either scored the second or the winning goal last year, didn't he, after a Ward-Prowse free cross?
After the free kick,
I can't remember which goal it was.
So their main danger man is gone. Now, Kuva brought up a very good point. I had completely forgot about them getting that kid from Rangers as well, and they do very smart business. So who knows how that guy's going to come in and what an impact he'll make. But I think because we have the ability to score goals and our fear is on the back line, and they don't have somebody that's really going to challenge our back line outright, it's going to be the midfielders that push up. I think with Højbjerg and Bentancur in there, and maybe even bringing in Basuma later on and going to a three-man midfield, we'll be able to shut them down. So we just need to come out first. Attack, of course, is my thing. I'm hoping to see Perisic start on the right wing back. That's really the only thing I think is our biggest weakness on the field currently that we need addressed. Royal can't cross the ball if his life depended on it. Doherty's still coming back from injury, so we don't know if he's really 100% right now. Spence, for some reason, isn't being given a shout. He didn't get a chance against Roma at all, which I was surprised with. I thought he'd get a few minutes at the end at least, or even a few at the beginning, just to help build the young man's confidence up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm hoping we go into that half 5-0 up, and then we can bring on Spence and start bringing in the guys that we would consider the ones that are going to be looking to change the game for us. Bring in Richarlison, bring in Spence, bring in Longley will probably be starting. Fraser Forrester, obviously, that's not an option. But I just want to see us come out guns blazing tomorrow, because I'm very, very nervous that if we don't, when I'm sitting beside that fella at the pub, Uncle F Man might come out, and then the poor kids come home traumatized, crying. Uncle Brian's so scary. Well, actually, no, the little one just laughs. But yeah, I just hope we come out guns blazing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
I think a home game.
Get the goals, home game, pump up that crowd, get the energy up, feed off them. You know, the energy we created going towards the end of the season in that stadium, we felt it over here watching the game on TV.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amazing. That 12th man thing in there is going to be a major, major impact for us this season, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it might be beneficial as well. I think Chelsea's the next game, isn't it, away from home, which you've got to be on your game there. But it might be beneficial. It might be beneficial to start some of the new boys, or certainly give them like half hour in this Southampton game, because we are at home, certainly if we're winning. So they've got a bit of experience playing in it, rather than their debut being away from home at Chelsea.
Yes.
But obviously it depends how the game pans out. If it's a real tight game, you can't be not risky substitutions, but trying things out, because you've got to try and win the game. But
could you imagine these guys, the hype that they'll get and the inner energy that will build internally for them if they come onto that field, and the reception they receive in front of the home fans, in front of a sold out stadium?
Yeah.
You know, that's
the fans are going to be on form anyway, aren't they? Because to start the season, completely optimistic because of what happened last season, home game.
And we should be. And we have every right to be, as far as I'm concerned. If you're going in there, I don't care what team you support. You never start the season of the first game of the season. No, this season's going to be crap. We're going to be shit. We're going to lose every game. Well, go support somebody else then, if that's your mentality. Yeah. If you're that hell bent that you need to support somebody that's going to win all the time, go support Bayern Munich. You know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, if you can't handle losing, if you can't handle some of the ups and downs, then jump off the train, man.
Yeah, Brian, two huge differences this season compared to last season. Two huge differences, which hello.
Why is she wearing a
Oh,
collar of shame? Why have you got her in a collar of shame? You're muted. We can't hear
we
you.
can't
Can't hear you.
No, we honestly can't.
No, we really can't hear you.
All I see is. Oh wait, that's baseball.
No.
Yeah, we honestly can't hear you, Brian.
Ha, that one was convincing.
That's
Good
better.
job,
Yeah.
lads.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, you know when he comes back, we're definitely going to carry this on now, right? Yeah,
I'll
it
just
is
mute
Chris's
myself
magic.
on here.
Or can we all just disappear and pretend we're in Chris's magic or something? Or
We'll come on to you then, Kuva. Two huge differences this season is we've got to manage the league and the Champions League. This isn't the Europa Conference League where you can play your second string, and the 5 subs. So the 5 subs is huge. Let's
Can
see.
you
if
hear
he's
me
there.
now?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kuva.
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you say something, Brian?
I'm not going through this again.
Brian,
You know, Bob gave me PTSD as in Bob Spur last time. That's why I always have this down. I actually check it so I can see if you're joking.
I could not hear you.
Yeah. So we'll come to you, Brian, again. I'll just ask Kuva this, but we'll ask you because I did start asking. 2 huge differences this season. We've got to manage the league and Europe. No Europa Conference League to play the second string. This is Champions League, so you're going to be playing your top team there. And the 5 subs in the league, which is huge now. You can really rest players without changing the team too much. Or, like we've already alluded to, you can completely change your formation and tactics. Do you think we'll see a lot more subs getting half hour, certainly in the games before and after the Champions League, just to keep things fresh? And with Richarlison back, could even be Kane coming off for half hour rest. And obviously, if the games are there to be won and are still tight, Kane probably ain't going to come off. But if the games are won, normally last season Kane was still playing 90 minutes.
Yeah,
he'll be going for Jimmy Greaves' record, but you want to be in all competition. So do you see a lot more subs half hour and a lot more of the big hitters coming off in the games before and after Champions League?
Yeah, you look at it, people always go back to Manchester City. All right, they've got a hell of a lot more quality than us. It's undeniable. But Kevin De Bruyne is the only one that played over 30 games. Did you hear any of them getting pissed off or saying, "Oh, I'm not happy, I'm not getting first team football"? No, they're winning games of football. They're winning trophies regularly, annually, and this is what it comes to. If Harry Kane's pissed off at coming off with 25 minutes to go, I love that you're pissed off, Harry, because you want to stay on and score. But I'd rather not have you for 25 minutes when the game's won than you stay on for that 25 minutes and do your ankle in again and you're out for 3 months. The boys have got to learn. Conte didn't have a choice in the last season. He regularly said we have 13 players at the end of the season. And he could only trust literally 12 of them, those 13 at max. Well, now he's got strength in depth. And that's the thing. It's the squad that wins your titles, not the first 11. And these boys have got to learn. And you know what? These boys want to go to the World Cup. Whether they agree with where it is or whatever, that's a different question. They all want to go to the World Cup. So you think around October and everything, they're going to be concerned about picking up. They're concerned about picking up injuries and being overplayed. It's going to be on their head as well. So Harry Kane, I know you're going to get the record this season, but if a game's won and you've got 2 goals and you're pissed off you didn't stay on for a hat trick, well, I'm really glad you're pissed off. But you'll thank Conte in the end.
Yeah.
Because you get more of a season. You're not on the treatment table. You don't need an operation. This is what the boys have got to do.
Games.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Kuva, he's going to have to be rested anyway, isn't he? Because he's going to be playing a full season and, fingers crossed, a full World Cup as well. Same for, Lloris is in goal, but so that's not as kind of thing. But Son will be playing as many World Cup games as career can. Denmark with Højbjerg as well. Various others. So yeah, there will be restings, won't there? Do you think, or do you think Conte will use the 5 subs differently to change formations and tactics mid-game?
It's definitely going to be resting bodies, without doubt. The reason Kane played so many games last season is because there's one thing about Conte's teams that is true at all times, and that's one word: control. Now, if Kane isn't playing to hold the ball up at the other end of the pitch, and we're relying on Sonny and say last season a Bergwijn, someone like that, they are your sort of players that that play off the shoulder of the last man, and they stretch the teams. They go beyond that. They need the ball into their path. That's not holding onto the ball. That's potentially giving the ball away to the opposition. Why I think we're hanging on to the likes of Lucas Moura and Harry Kane so important is you can play the ball into their feet. They won't lose it. It will stick. You give yourself control in that third of the pitch. The addition of Richarlison is incredibly important for that point of view, because now we can rest Harry Kane at times, because there is another player in there to offer that sort of strength side of the game. He can have the ball into his feet and fight for it. He won't easily lose it. When you can do that, without doubt for me, you will see the likes of Harry Kane. Some games he might not even start them. If he needs the rest that week, he'll get given the rest. If he needs to come off after about an hour and Richarlison gets the last half hour, we're going to see it. It's all about game management. When we're saying the big difference is we're now looking at 2 games a week because it's Champions League, and that's so much more important than, say, Europa Conference League. This is being a big team. Deal with it. That's what we got to do. Manage the squad. That's what a manager's there for. Keep them all happy so they know they're not going to be doing every minute of every game. Harry Kane and Son Heung-min are going to have to just deal with the fact that they will get pulled off the pitch sometimes when they're looking for goals, when they're looking to break records and things like that. It's part of what being a big club is. That's why you have a big name manager who can deal with these situations. Conte will know that, and the players will respect Conte enough to follow to, not kick up a fuss. They're professionals. At the end of the day, I don't see any sort of whining little crybabies in this current squad we've got that are involved with the first team. The ones we did have getting out the door. The little sulky players are on their way. I have no doubt about it whatsoever. So I think we're in a good state going into this season, with the possibility of more rotation than we could have done last season. This is very good signs. I'm thrilled at the fact we are bringing so many players in before we started worrying about getting players out the door as well. Because before, that's what holds us up. That's why we get last-minute panic buys, because we've taken so long to sell players on. We've changed that this season. It's a really good sign that Levy is listening to the needs and wants of his director of football and the manager. Let's hope this continues. But I think a few more signings, and that's this rotation that we're a little bit apprehensive about at the moment. Getting 3 more great players in, that suddenly becomes a very, very healthy little roundabout system where you've got quality out, quality in. That's what we've got to be building for. It doesn't have to be world-class players, but they just need to be very good at a high level. And when people are saying about, Big K will have to cover his ears, but Dyer isn't good enough. he's just we've got to go higher level than that. Dyer's will be okay for this season as sort of come in on some games, rest some players when you need to, but surely we need that kingpin at the back, the rock type player that's wins everything in the air. You can't get past him. The one that sticks out at the moment that's such an obvious target would have to be Skriniar for me, just because of the situation at Inter. They've surely got to sell. We do need somebody like that.
Maybe they're hoping to try and get things sorted, and then come the end of the window last week, we're like, okay, it's not, we're going to have to get rid of him, and then we get him then, which obviously isn't great for us, but you can only get a player if the selling club are willing to sell him. And
absolutely.
Generally, if he's in contract, it's generally on their terms, which, it's just the way it is, really.
Lots of them out there, though, isn't there? It doesn't have to be Skriniar. So,
I think a lot more will happen. Still 3 weeks left.
Yeah, let's hope we do something. I think we're going to be struggling if we don't sign any more players, though. I think then it does become an issue having Champions League and going for the league. But fingers crossed. I'm remaining positive. I think we've done the right thing in the window so far. Just see it through, get the extra players in that are needed. We do need some more. So
Yeah,
Just
it's
one
like
quick
literally
comment
we've
from
driven 70% of the journey. Let's get
Yeah,
the other
exactly.
30% now.
one
So-
comment
so
here
this-
from the man himself, Bob Spur.
Hey,
No,
good morning,
no one's been
Superman.
called out this time. Good afternoon, you beautifully average-looking people. Everyone's being called out there. Massive day for Spurs tomorrow. Big day for me personally too. Hope to
Good
meet
luck,
you there,
Bob.
Bob.
Good
I haven't
luck.
met you before. Both going to the game. It'd be great to meet you there before or after the game. But yeah, Bobby, how do you think the Champions League and this World Cup will affect the squad? Obviously, like Kuva said there, if we don't get more in, then we could be struggling with injuries or whatever. But if we can get a couple more in, obviously helps us for the inevitable fatigue or injuries or what have you. I think, Brian, you said on Bobby's channel that Champions League group stages normally finished December, but because of this World Cup, it's now November. So
Earlier.
that's
beginning,
a lot
beginning of November.
yeah, and that's a lot of weekend,
football fast.
weekday. So
Yeah.
yeah, how do you think Conte will manage the rotation and their 5 subs, obviously, in the league? Do you think he'll use all of them to rest players if the game's done? Or do you think it'll be a kind of different way that he uses them?
Well, Chris, you know what? The good thing is now, basically, like Kuva touched on already, we actually have options. We have the ability to have 5 subs. We have the ability to use 2 subs or 3 subs and cover every single position except for Dyers. But we are 1 or 2 injuries away from being short in our squad, which means we still currently need more reinforcements. You brought up a point regarding, again, we've all discussed this. We know this World Cup being right in the middle of the season kind of thing that's going to throw everybody off. I honestly think it'd be smart business for us to start looking at players that are of high profile that aren't on clubs or aren't national teams that are going to be going to the World Cup. Like a guy like Haaland, you know what I mean? They're not going to the World Cup. So, and he's a world-class player. He's going to be rested. He's going to get to sit back. He's going to come back. He's going to be fresh, ready to go. I think after the World Cup is really going to light it up. I think before then he's going to just have that adjustment period. And I think somebody like that. So I think we should look at players like that, if possible, for our own personal situation so that we can not risk injuries while we have. Because
Skriniar would be a perfect one, wouldn't it? He's Italian, isn't he? And they shockingly got knocked out of the group stages. So
is he Skriniar's?
Oh, is he Italian? No, he's not. Is he?
No,
Serbian,
Serbian, I thought.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Yeah.
I've seen him wearing an Inter Milan shirt, Inter Milan of Italian. So he's got to be. No one buys foreign players anymore.
No, but you know what? A lot of these guys, they move over to countries, they change their citizenship and stuff, right? Depending on how much they play.
I'm probably thinking of
it could be
Bastoni.
possible, right?
He's Italian, but obviously
Bastoni is, yes.
It's not one of those surnames where you instantly recognise it as part of the country. Like he's not a natural Swede like Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you think he'll rotate
Sarcasm.
the players? Yeah, how do you think he'll rotate the squad, Bobby, with these Champions League games and World Cup?
You know what? At the end of the day, he has to rotate the squad. That's not an option. That just has to be done. We're going to have injuries. We're going to have fatigue. We're going to have players going down. We need to keep everything fresh as possible. What I think he's going to have a hard time dealing with now is actually keeping the players happy. Like Brian touched on already, only De Bruyne played 30 games for City, and nobody complained. Our players, like Kane, are used to playing 50 games, because we put him in every single competition. So is he going to all of a sudden be griping that he's not starting a game? He's coming off with 30 minutes left, 40 minutes left potentially. Are these things that are going to set into his psyche and upset him, or is he going to? Are him and Sonny going to be smart enough to realize that we're getting up there in years now? It's time for us to take the breaks when we get them, kind of thing, and let our body reset and re-energize and get reconditioned for the game that we've got 3 days from now again. So
I don't think they'll be too upset, because. It's Conte. Conte's a winner. Conte wins things. The reason Man City players don't get upset is because Pep will win trophies and then they get trophies. And Kane may be upset about, not I want to play as much as possible to get Jimmy Greaves' record. But like Kuva said, when we win the quadruple, he's in enough competitions.
He's not going to care.
Do that anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to win, though. Once we win something, that'll take off all that pressure. It'll take off the bad vibes and everything. But I'm just concerned about discontent and poison basically coming into the dressing room and people getting unsettled because we're trying to build towards something and get to a goal and achieve something. So I'm just worried about how Conte is going to manage that because, again, he comes off as a my way or the highway kind of guy. And I'm concerned if somebody comes to him, be it even a Sonny or a Kane, and says, look, hey, I don't want to come off with a half hour to go, and him turn around and say, well, you're going to do what I say. I'm the manager, and
I
things
think
are
he's
going to run
probably
my
got a
way.
bit more
So
about
I
him
just
in
hope
terms
that
of
doesn't
man
happen.
management there. Yeah, I think he's probably got a bit more about him of man management there, rather
I
behind
hope
closed
so.
doors
I
that we
hope
don't
so.
see, rather than tough,
Yeah.
go home. But
I
think the
personally,
players
I hope
will
so. I hope you're right.
understand as well. I think the players will understand as well.
Listen, they have to, and if they don't, tough fucking luck.
Yeah,
Tough
but
fucking luck. It's, do you know
tough
what?
fucking luck means sour grapes, pissed off players.
I keep hearing, how are we going to keep Harry Kane happy? How are they going to be pissed off? Well, good, get pissed off. Because you've had it 8 years where you've been overplayed and undervalued because you just play. That's not how it goes. You earn your place because you play well. You earn your place and you come off because the guy's protecting you or you're not having a good game. And if you get pissed off, then that shows you're not a team player. That shows you're in it for the personal glory.
Personal
And
game. Yeah.
enough of. We got to stop saying because we haven't had this strength in depth or this quality to come on. That I think we're the only team that say, right, when that first 11's out, no one can touch it. Everyone says our first 11 could beat the crap out of anyone. Our first 11. In what world? We're not back in the 80s where there was only 2 subs and like literally everyone played 90 minutes unless there was an injury. And when I say injury, I mean your legs falling off because these were men that would just play on with anything. Enough of saying, oh, but I'm the best, I'm this, that. No. Conte's there. He gets paid the big bucks. Do I believe Conte can do stuff with his method? If he takes Kane off with half an hour to go, am I going to go, what are you doing? I'm going to go, oh, wait a minute. You've won quite a few league titles and domestic cups in your time. I think you know what you're doing. We haven't won a trophy since 2008. I want what he's doing. So I couldn't give a flying monkeys what people were saying about, oh, are the players going to be happy or how is no, piss off.
Yeah, Carl Simpson here says if Kane and Son want to win, they have to, in reality, they have to realise that they don't play every game. It's about the accolades,
exactly.
not the goal. But and maybe Kane wants a rest. Maybe he gets fed up playing literally every single game every season because he's absolutely shattered come the end of the season. But yeah, I don't think there'll be any issues there. Certainly, if we're winning games, it's same with Mourinho. Mourinho's way of playing football is horrible, but if you're winning games, you accept it. If you're not winning games, then it goes out the window. If you're coming off with half hour to go every game, not being able to score goals, but you're winning games, you don't really care. But yeah, Kuva, moving on to the last kind of point now before we wrap up. The Southampton game. How will the game pan out for you? Bobby said he wanted Tottenham to go all guns blazing. I'm of the same opinion. The fans will be right up for this, so it's our job to keep them singing and keep them shouting, and then hopefully we can give a real statement to the rest of the league about what we're about this season. But in reality, it's possibly not going to be that way. Southampton obviously will have something to say about that. How do you think the game will pan out? And what will be your predictions, even though you've kind of already announced that you've been swayed by Bob Spur to a 4-1?
Right. Well, I'm expecting Southampton to come out furiously, trying to swarm all over us because that is their style. High press, high intensity. I think I would have preferred it if Busuma was starting for us because he's an instant remedy to a lot of that. I think we're going to have to try and match them a bit for that because otherwise they'll get their foot into the game, and if they can sneak a goal during that time, they'll be difficult to break down. But I don't think they have that cutting edge now. Like I said earlier, with Broja going out to the team, they've added to their creativity from midfield, but they've also lost that ability to do something with it. So I think it's going to be a cagey game. I think it's going to be furiously played out. But then eventually the quality we have will come into it. And I think it's the likelihood for me, it'll be the introduction of that type of player like Perisic, where we would struggle at some point. He'll pop up with something. I'll just get this feeling. There'll be, wow, we couldn't break Southampton down last season during this bit, and Perisic comes up with something pure quality. Kane puts it away because why not? I'm going to go for let's have a Kane hat trick and a Sonny with the other one. Perisic with a couple of assists, Kulusevski with a couple of assists. That'll be a good one for me. And then go with the 4-1 because it's Bob. So I'm expecting very, very furious start, but then when the quality takes over, the goals start coming in.
Yeah, well, on this show, I can't give score prediction because it's tempting fate too much, and every time I've done it in the past, we've lost. So what I'll say is just a result. I think we'll win, but with our defence, I think we'll probably concede a goal. But yeah, I just want a statement to come out. This is what we're about this season. We're not here to make numbers up. We're not here to piss about, and that starts for me by coming out quickly, regardless of how Southampton play. Coming out quickly, have a few shots, keep the crowd shouting. But Bobby, how do you think the game will pan out? We know you want the same kind of thing, all guns blazing from Spurs from the start. But how do you think it will pan out? And what are your predictions for the game?
Well, I'm not going to be as negative as Kuva was.
He said 4-1. That's fairly positive.
I know, so negative. I'm gonna have to do the 1-up thing because that's a traditional cultural thing that we do here. It's the Indian way. I'm gonna go 5-1.
Right, 5-0.
What? 6-0. No. To infinity. I'll steal from Little K there. I took Chris's infinity points. No, I honestly think that because we're coming off a high. We ended the season on a high. We're in a good vibe right now. The sun is shining on Tottenham Stadium. The team has improved. We've brought in players that are going to challenge for starting spots. We're not complete. We're not fully there yet, but we are on the right track. We're on the right road. We're going, everything pointing in the right direction. I think we're going to come out with that 12th man power. And I really think that we're going to really take the game to them. I think that they lost their attacking front man, that they're going to be not as difficult for us to kind of hold back as long as the back three can stay tight and our midfield stays right in front of them and we don't let them come in past pretty much anything after. As soon as they come in our half, basically start shutting it down immediately. I think we'll be able to do that and then push the game right back towards them on the counter. We've got the pace to do it. I'm gonna go very optimistic. I think we can easily 3-0.
Excellent. And
you went up to 5-1, and now you're going down to 3-0.
I know, because I was just being that was more out of spite and everything like that. And then I realized that Kuva and me are sharing the same last name now, so I shouldn't be picking fights with family. So
from KM Hong here, goals are great, but if we can't keep a clean sheet, semi-failure in my opinion. We win every game 3-2. Couldn't care less, but obviously I know what you mean there. We need to keep a clean sheet if you want to win leagues and trophies. But Brian, how will the game pan out and what are your predictions?
Well, the game's going to pan out exactly how we want it because this bad boy's coming back out. So it's.
Did you get the sauce out of it? Is the stain still there? Where is it? I was there that day. Saw that happen.
I done a poll and everyone was like, "Do not touch that shirt."
You can't.
And I was like, "Okay, all right." So it's not been touched. As people know I'm a man of my word. I'm actually going 4-0. I'm actually going that we've let goals in. This is how optimistic I am this season. We've been letting goals in pre-season to be a false sense of security. We're actually all ship shape, and we're like, let's concede during pre-season. People think, we're shit, and then just lock it down. I just think, you know what? Whether you agree with the players that we've signed are quality or not, whether you agree that the money could have been spent better or not, we spent money. We spent it early. All right, Richarlison is suspended. But I can't remember a season where Spurs fans are actually thinking the manager's in place. He has been back. Whether we agree, Conte is obviously happy he's still there. And I just think there is a brand new sense of optimism. And always the first game of the season is always a great time to go back to the I was about to say go back to the yard. It is, but go back to the lane. As I was just saying, the Scotland Yard's going to be packed and buzzing. White Hart Lane's going to be packed and buzzing. All the pubs and everything is going to be buzzing. And It's just a shame you guys don't get to watch it live on TV unless you have other ways of doing it because it's not a featured game. But yeah, I'm going 4-0. 4-0.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'd rather us concede all of those goals in pre-season rather in games that actually matter.
Oh, yeah.
But, I do worry about the set pieces, though. We looked very susceptible to that last season and again in pre-season.
Don't worry about that. If we concede a goal, let's just go and score another.
Yeah, but I think we've got enough firepower to be able to put teams away. And like I said, if we win every game 3-2, we win the league. So I'm not that bothered, but I do understand that we can't keep looking at clean sheets, semi-failure. But yeah, be amazing to start the season again. Amazing to start with a win at home. Keep that crowd optimism carried on for however long we can. And if we can follow that up with a win at Stamford Bridge as well, I mean, that would be the big statement.
Breaking, Eddie Howe signed a new long-term contract at Newcastle.
Yeah, he's doing well there.
He is. I would have rathered him than Nuno, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But then he might have done well.
We wouldn't have had Conte.
Exactly,
yeah. No, there is that. Obviously, I wouldn't change anything now, but I'm saying if we hadn't done what we did, then I would have preferred Eddie Howe over Nuno.
There's a few managers that don't get the credit they deserve because they were in a team that was struggling.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder's another one. I think brilliant manager he is.
Sean Dyche as well did wonders for Burnley for how many years. But yeah, as long as we can get a win, we get the 3 points, and if we can follow it up with Chelsea, absolutely superb. But if we can get a statement win tomorrow, even better. Get some of the new boys on, get them some game time. If like Kuva said, you can get Perisic with a couple of assists, really fires him in. If we can get Basuma on, even though the injury kind of concern, I guess is the right word. If we can get him on, get him involved in Premier League games as well. It's just a shame that we can't do the same with Richarlison because of the suspension, but it's not really his fault. He was trying to chuck a bottle 100 metres up out of the stadium. I love that excuse that Everton gave. But anyway, but yeah, we pretty much reached the end. All unanimous with a Spurs win. Jamie Pretty as well, 3-1 up all the way from Manila. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And it just remains for me to say thanks to all my guests and 2 debuts, as I say, and 1 first appearance of the season. But Kuva, I know you're not on any channel yourself, although that's about to change, I think, this Saturday with the man below you. But I know you wanted to come on and talk about Bob Spur because he's got a brilliant initiative for the NHS, and you're on that channel quite a lot.
Well, you nearly said it now. It's just a continuation for the charity drive that Bob Spur was doing on Bob Spur TV, trying to raise money for the Princess Alexandra Hospital in Harlow. And obviously, Bob being in the coma over Christmas twice, literally, NHS has saved his life. Saved his life in other times as well. I mean, it's such an undervalued commodity we have in this country. It should be. The NHS used to be the flagship of this country. It used to be the envy of the world. And it's easy to forget that, and we shouldn't. So raising a bit of money for them, trying to hit the £3,000 mark before the 12th of August, which is the cut-off point. At which point, Bob will, a week later, going to hand a cheque over to the hospital and hopefully get to the 3,000 because it gets doubled up by a very generous collection of people that said they will do such a great gesture. So that 3,000, hopefully we get it, turns into 6,000. What a lovely check that is to give to a hospital. Yeah, big up the NHS and big up Bob Spur on Saturday night, 10:45 in the Wall. Other than that, I'll leave Bobby K to advertise the other part I'm going to be on.
Yeah, and Kuva doing the segue for me. Bobby, 3 Spurs boys, your channel, but you've got another show coming up with the man above you, Kuva, there.
Well, I don't know. If he's going to leave me to hold the bag and do all the work, I don't know how this is going to work out if this is how this is starting. Yeah, Sunday night, me and Kuva are going to go live, just have our little weekend wrap-up kind of thing. Been trying to think of something to do with the show, and when you can get the biggest dog in the yard to come on your side and join you. And I had the Godfather himself here start the channel over here with us. So, I'm surrounded by royalty, and I'm so lucky and blessed in this community with the friends I've made and have, and all because of that fella over there that decided to get me hooked here, and I love doing it. So I'm really looking forward. Me and Kuva are going to have our weekend wrap-up thing on Sunday nights. The boys will be doing their little post-game thing. They'll have a little post-game show popping out tomorrow, actually, with the fella right beside you there, underneath you, Chris, there. So, Three Spurs Boys is the channel name. Kuva and the gang will be a little something. I don't know if Kuva, if we're just going to run it off Three Spurs Boys, or if you want to start something. We still got to talk about this. We don't know what we're doing, and that's the beauty of it. We're just going to kind of go out there, have a little bit of fun. But from my understanding, I know me and Kuva said we'll run it off Three Spurs Boys. So for now, we'll stick with that. Three Spurs Boys, get on over. We had this brilliant show yesterday with this lovely guy named Chris from Let's Talk Tottenham. He also actually comes from a show called Chris's Magic. So if you guys missed that, get on over, check it out. He comes on, does 3 tricks for us, and has the kids going. And it was the best. It was just, it was awesome. It was great. Chris, thank you for joining us yesterday. We really had a good time.
My pleasure. Really good fun.
And we still we want to see the Marvel trick like 17 more times live on screen on big screen, so we can sit there and analyze it, because all three of us are determined to figure out how you do it.
You never do the same trick twice.
We're determined to figure out how you do it. It's awesome. But thank you for that, man. Thank you.
No problem. It's my pleasure. And Jamie, the link for Bobby K's channel is in the description. So if you go into this video, open up the description. It's at the bottom. But also as well, whatever Kuva and Bobby decide on the Kuva and the Gang show, both of their Twitter handles are in the description as well. So give them a follow, and then you'll be notified whenever, whatever they decide.
Yeah, if I learn to use Twitter, you'll get the notification.
And Brian, your show, what's it called again? A tour of Tottenham, a Tottenham on tour, of course.
Correct.
People don't need an introduction to where that is; they should know that already. But for people who are new to the channel or living under a rock, where can they find it? And what?
Yeah, they can find us at Tottenham on tour. There's a lot of new stuff coming. We're actually lucky to have a few people now that are going to help us out with match day content, which is something we've never done. So it'll be something new. There's actually quite a lot of new things coming our way, but there's 2 things I want to mention right now, which is one, after this, get over to Ben Kaufman's show, because he has a big announcement that he's going to announce. And it's definitely, it's something very, very interesting and something brand new, and people are going to love it. So go over to Ben Kaufman, the Coffee Guy Company's stream that will be starting shortly. And secondly, there's a brand new show appearing on We Are Tottenham TV tonight, and will be every single Friday, and it will be called The Late Spurs Show with the boys from Tottenham on tour. So basically, we are doing a show for the boys on Tottenham on We Are Tottenham TV. They do so much work for everyone during the day UK time, but obviously they're not doing anything at night. So we are going to be doing a show. It's starting at 6 p.m. tonight, my time, 11 p.m. UK time. It's only going to be an hour because Brian Ireland's got something to do. It was meant to start at 5, but the boys need to do something. But as of next week, it will be at 1 a.m. your time, 8 p.m. our time, which is the main aim to get the West Coast, Australia, and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to basically be a carbon copy of Good Morning Tottenham, which I'm about to leave here and jump straight on. So, yeah, it started tonight at 6 p.m. my time, 11 p.m. UK time. But every Friday, there will be a late Tottenham show all the way from Toronto with the boys from Tottenham on tour.
Excellent. And you know the link by now, but it is in the description as well. Have to click more. So much written on these descriptions. Click on more, and then it's at the bottom. Yeah. Cheers, Brian.
All right.
And looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully meet Bob Spur for the first time. Yourself, Kuva, if you're going, and a few others. I imagine number 8 bar. That's the one right next to the stadium. But but as long as we get the win, happy days. And yes, all that remains for me to say is thanks to Kuva, to Bobby, and to Brian as well, and all of you for watching and all of your comments and the likes. Please hit the subscribe. Please hit the like if you haven't done already, if you're watching on the replay. And then get over to Bobby's channel, hit the subscribe, hit the likes on the channels that you watch and Tottenham on Tour as well. And make sure on Sunday you watch Kuva and the Gang, the new show from Bobby and Kuva. And yeah, as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
Come on, you
Spurs. Thanks for having us, Chris.
Thank you so much for watching, and to everybody who joined in the live chat. Before you go, please leave a like, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's all free and you'll be notified when we go live. Anyone who missed the live stream can still watch the replay on YouTube, and any comments, questions or suggestions on the comments there. For anyone listening to the audio only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anyone who wants that podcast, you get that wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, go to our Twitter or Instagram page on the screen. We'll be back on Monday on the Hotspur Hood YouTube channel. Give them a subscribe. We're there at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And we're on this channel, Let's Talk Tottenham, 12:30 p.m. UK time again on Fridays. Until then, come on, you Spurs.